Alright, this is a calendar created with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let me show you what it does. So as you see, this is displaying the current date, and if I navigate, I can look for the previous months, and you can also see the previous year's date. Along with that, you can also see the next year's date as well. Alright, first to start, we need to create three files. So let's get into our file explorer. In this file explorer, you need to create three files, Control N, Control S. So I'm going to name it as demo.html. The extension is important, Control Shift S, demo.html. The extension is important, so .html is important. You can give any name. The same way, let's create style sheet, demo.css. You can give any name. The extension is important, demo.js. This is a JS file. Now let's just delete this. Now let me just copy the code from the HTML and I'll explain you line by line. So the first thing is you need to link your JS in the footer and your HTML in the head section. So for here I have added the font awesome link for these two icons. Now here we have a main div called calendar. So inside the calendar we have two main childrens, the header and body. So in the header you see this December 2022 and these two buttons, and in the body section you see the weeks and the days. So in the header again you have a div with class title and the div with class icons, which hold two icons. Now inside the body we have list item, unordered list, and the list item. The unordered list has class weeks, and inside the unordered list we have some lists. The same way for the days, it's unordered list, and in the list item we have number of days. Cool. Now for the CSS, let me just copy the hierarchy and let me get the link for the font Poppins. The demo.css, just in the first line, import the font called Poppins. It has the variation of 400, 500 and 600. And then we have, for all elements, I have removed margin and padding, and box sizing as border box, and added the font called Poppins. Cool. Let's see how does our HTML looks like without adding CSS. So this is how it looks. So for the body, so before the body we need to design the calendar. So let's just give the width as 450 pixel. You won't see anything. Let's just make this background black or background red just to see what's inside, and whatever is there, it should have a color of white. Since we have given the width 450, let's just get the unordered list. Let's just give the unordered list as width 100%. In this case it would take the width of the parent. In this case it's 450 pixel. And for each list item, let's just give width. So we need 7 in a row. So in that case, calculate function 100% divided by 7. And to make this as act as a row, so display flex. Cool. The same trick we have to apply it for the days with 100% And the calculation for the list item, it should has 7 in a row. And for the days to work, you need to give one more property, which is flex wrap. So it takes it restricts the width. Now for all the list item, I hope I have written somewhere. If not, let's just create it. For all unordered list, let's remove the list style and make it list style none. Cool. And in the body, display flex, align items center, and justify content center. And for the align item to work, you need to give 100% of viewport height. And let's just make the background color as a shade of black. Now we can focus on the calendar. Let's just give padding of 0.5 rem. The default rem value is 16 pixel. If you give 0.5, then it's half, so 16 half is 8, so 8 pixel on all sides. Cool. Now let's get into the header. Let's give display flex and a width of 100%. And since we have two children inside the header, we need to give a width for the title 80%, and a width for the icons as 20%. And we can give display flex and for all the list items inside the days, we can give padding top of padding. We can give top bottom 10 pixel, left and right 0, and whatever is there inside, let's just make display flex align item center and justify content center. We have to give the same for the weeks. And for the header, padding 2 rem, let's just leave as it is as of now. And margin bottom we can give, no, we don't need margin bottom as well. Let's just make the background color as black, and padding 2 rem, 0.5 rem on all sides. Let's just zoom in, and that goes same for the weeks. Not on bodies, but on weeks. Weeks unordered list. I have missed the spelling, so it's weeks. Cool. Now for the days, let me just remove the color red, and we can stick with some grayish color. And for the days, we can give background color, we can change it over here, slightly grayish, and we can change the color to give contrast. Black would be good. Cool. So we have to work on the hover. Now the days, when I hover on the days, the cursor should be pointer, colon v4. So in order for the, let's just make position relative to the parent and then work on this. For the content to work, we need to give the property content or else it won't work. Position absolute left of 50 percentage and top of 50 percentage. Transform translate minus 50 percentage. We need to give width and height. Width of 30 pixel or let's say 40 pixel and height of 40 pixel. Don't forget to give colon or else semicolon or else it would be mistake. So it's there, but to see we need to give background color red and let's just get into inspect and stick this to the side, hover on it before you see, and you have to work on top. Zero would be right, and we can make border radius 50 percentage. And here you can give some grayish tone instead of red, and we can give z index of 1 here or just say 2, and here we can give z index of 1 minus 1 or 1. So it should work, it should show only on hover. So when I hover on the list item, I want to give the background color. So if I hover it, you see the action in effect. And let's just give a transition, or let's say 0.5 years. And you see in the HTML I have some inactive classes, so that denotes the previous month's date. Here in this case 27, 28, 29 and 30. So let me just call that and give opacity of 0.3. Cool. I hope we still have this icon left. Inside the header icon we have I tag, so we can give width 30 pixel, height 30 pixel. Now it's a square, so whatever is there, let's just give background color just to see. Let's just make display flex so that whatever is there, it should appear at the center of the div. Align item center, justify content center. We can have any color and black. Cool. And if you want, you can make cursor pointer, and when you hover it, it acts as a pointer. If you want, you can give some space, display flex, align items center, justify content, space between or space around. Cool. Now if you want, you have a title and you can give font size of 1.25 rem as I already discussed, and you can give padding left of 1 rem, and can increase the font weight of 700 or 900 according to your convenient. Alright, now I believe the practice one is looking way better than the previous one, so let's work on JS. Alright, now as a first step, let's just make these date dynamic. So how we are going to do that? So this this div has a class title, so let's call it in JavaScript document.query selector, and title, and its current date. Now to get the date and month, you need to call date object. So date equal to new date, and this object's reference has the function dot get month, so you can store it as current underscore month, and for the year we have get full year. Look, notice at the camel case as I'm using right now. Now let's create a function render dates, and here what we can do is call this date, call this div, and append the date inner text. So we are modifying the text, so that's with the help of property inner text we can modify the title's text, and we can use, don't forget to, we are going to use tilde sign, oh sorry, it's called backtick, which is above your tab. So here we can pass the variable which is month, and giving space, then year. But in JavaScript, if you notice, as I refresh the page, make sure you call this function, or else it won't be executed. Unless you call, it won't be executed. Now it's 11. So in JavaScript, it's displaying as arrays value. So let me create a array of ones. So I have created an array of ones starting from 0. Arrays index start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, and the last one is 11. Since the array value starts from 0, it's not, the ending value is not 12 but 11 here in this case. Now we can call this array, and to call the index number we can pass current month. Refresh this. Now it's December 2023. So here in the demo.html, if you remove December 2023 in HTML, it would be, if you type anything other than, let's say, Jan 2024 in demo.html, if I refresh this page with the help of JavaScript, it would be not Jan 24 but it's December 2023 because of this function. So if you hide this function, then what is there in the HTML would be displayed. Demo.html, yes, demo.html, JavaScript, yes, hard refresh. It should be Jan, but it's still displaying December. Let's see what is causing the issue. Am I in the correct one? I still have a doubt. So in the folder, I am in the demo.html, and Control U, demo, I think in the JS, make sure it's demo.js. Yes, demo.js. If I click on this, you see it's not commented, but I have commented here. Control Shift R. Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm commenting it on the script.js. I should have commented on the demo.js. Now, if I refresh, it would be displayed as if it's in the HTML, but because of JavaScript, we are able to display the dynamic year and month on the demo.html. Alright, now with the help of JavaScript, let's just know the last day of current month. Here in this case is 31, and use a for loop to iterate from 1 to 31. I know this is wrong, but let's just work on the for loop as of now. So now in the index.html, if I remove this, whatever is there inside, let me just comment this for now, and if I refresh, comment this and refresh, and you see these data are getting dynamically populated. So now let's work on that. So in the demo.js, as we have lastly left, now we need to get the current month's last date. Get last date of a month. So to get this, we need to call a date object, and we need to pass year, month. Since we need last day, we need to pass 0. So this is in the documentation, we can't do anything. So to need the last day of the month, we need to pass 0. So the year is 2023, and the month is this one. So if you notice, the current month is 11. So you will be getting 11 as we have already seen. Now let's just show you the actual output. Console.log on the demo.html. In the console section, we have logged a message, and don't forget to use getDate function. So it's 30. So we are getting the last day of previous month. So to get the current month, we need to add 1 plus 1. So now it's 31. So that's what we are going to do now. To get the current month date, we need to use this way. If that doesn't make sense, just rewind and listen again. And that's how it is in the documentation. Now since we get 31, it's actually right because we are in the December and 31 is the last day. Now we need to create a li tag, and in the li tag, what we need to do is we need to run a for let's create a variable I. You can give any variable. I should be greater than equal to the last date of month, then just increment the I. So call the list item tag and append the HTML backticks. So it's an HTML, so list item and list item pass inside I. Now let's just call days day hyphen ul tag. So the ul tag I have given the class days. So we need to append this dot inner HTML this time and just append this. So if you don't use plus, then you will get only the last li tag. So if you use plus, you will get from value 0 from value 1 to the last date of month. Refresh this. Unexpected where, just click on this line over here. Okay, you can have this outside of backtick, so it's just only variable where we need to surround it with backtick. Oh, I'm very sorry, I have made this greater than, actually it should be less than. So you get it, starting from 1 and ends on 31. So we have dynamically imported the current month's date in the HTML. Alright, now let's just show on button click previous and next dates. You can see the month, also the date changes. Now let's work on that. Now the very first thing what we need to do is, let me just zoom in, Control V. In the dates, let's just add the ID for left click and ID for right click. Make sure you are in the icons. Now in the demo.js, let's call this document.querySelector all. So we have icons which has div, multiple div. So we'll use for each to access one by one. So we'll be accessing icon one by one. So let's add event listener on button click. So let's get the ID, console.log ico.id. So as I click on the, let's just get into the console. When I click on the button, you should get the ID. So if the ID is left, then we need to decrement the current month. So you can see we have a current month. It's globally defined and we are passing it over here, and because of this function that gets executed, we get the current month's date displayed on the HTML. So I hope that's clear. If that doesn't, just get into the previous, just skip this, just rewind this and watch again. Now as I said, this function is executed on calling this, so the value for the date and month is globally defined. Now we need to modify the globally defined variable over here. If it is left, then we are using ternary operator. So this section is for if it's true. If it's true, then decrement it to -1. If it is false, that means the right one is clicked, then increment it to +1. Let's just see whether we are able to get the right month console.log on the, if I refresh this, if I click minus, you'll see 10, 9, 8, and then we need to pass this, then we need to call this function. So if you see December, November, October, and so on, and we are getting as we need it. I hope this is clear. Alright, now let's just display the previous month's last date. So you can see on November, so 31, 30, 29, I hope it's readable, sorry, it's viewable. Now what we need to do is, It's very straightforward. Now we need to understand from which day our day is getting started. Here in this case it's Friday. So here it's Friday. The one should start from here. So to get that we need to know the first day of the month. First day of the month, so it should start from 0 get day. So this is first day of month. So let me just console and check console.log. So here since it's day, you'll be getting the value from 0 to 6. So it's 5. 5 means Friday. So that's right. Now we are going to run a for loop again. So in the for loop we need to populate, so the one should start from here, and we need to populate 5 4 3 2 1 with the previous month's data. So here what we can do is the I should start from the first day of month and it should decrement to 0, and it should keep on decrementing as its for loop. I tag, let's just check. So you can see it's starting from 1, so that's really very great. So it's starting from Friday, and the previous data is getting filled with the number of array. Since it's 5, so 1 2 3 4 5. So instead of 1 2 3 4 5, we need the last date of last month. Last date of last month. So if you just remove this, you'll get last date of last month. You don't need this. Now since it's last date of last month, we need to decrement it. So if it's 30, 30 minus 1, 30 minus 2, 30 minus 3, 30 minus 4, 30 minus 5. So that's what we are writing. So if I refresh, don't forget to add 1 or else you'll get unconfigured. So it's 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. And since if you notice in our CSS we have added the class inactive, and here you go. So if you click previous, it's working as we thought. Alright, now let's just display the previous month's and next month's data. So now as we have displayed these values, let's just focus on the after values. So to get that, what we need to do is we need to get the current month ending date, last day of the current month. So here let's just slowly get this last day of the month. So here we need to pass last date of month as a third parameter and get the day. Now since we have last day of the month, now the empty spot will be again filled by the for loop. It should start from last day of the month, and the max should be 6, and just increment the value, that's fine. Now last day of the month. So if you see in the demo.css, last day of month, current year, current month, last day of month, forget the current day. Let's just try to display the last day of month. It shows 0 again. I'm really sorry, it was the for loop mistake. And again, don't forget to add the class inactive because it's of previous month. So 0 1, it starts from 0. So in that case you can increment, you can add plus 1 to it. So 1 2 3. So this calendar should match with our, so 20 starting from 27, 28, 29, 30. So it's one day. So you can see the day are starting from one day, but here the day is starting from Sunday. That could be the problem. Now from 1 to 6. So that's cool. 1 just match with the Friday. 1 8 15 22 29 and 6, sorry 5. Now let's just focus on displaying the next year's value. It's December 2023 and this is Jan 2024 and so on. So it's very straightforward. Let us go again. Now we need to know if the month value is less than 0 or greater than 11. So if it is less than 0 and greater than 11, in that case pass the value of current year and current month and increment the values to get the next month's data. So if it is less than 0, sorry, if it is greater than 0 and less than 11, then proceed with the current date and time value. I hope it's not that difficult then to explain. So if the value is between 0 and 11, then this line of code would be executed. If the value is less than 0 and greater than 11, in that case this will be executed to get the previous date and next year's data. Cool. So this is demo.js and you see Jan, and if I click on it we'll get 2025 data as well. Cool.